let's go into round one here. James, you are our special guest, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to say here. So, James, start us off.
Sure. I got some obscure names on this list, but I feel like I should start with somebody a little more mainstream. I'll take Shaedon Sharpe as somebody who I think could break out this year. And he's still just 21, which is crazy. He played 32 games last year for Portland. He had this core muscle injury that he had to get surgery for. So basically, like mid-January onward, like that, he was done. He did, though, kind of start to break out before that in terms of at least offensive output. It wasn't the most efficient, but he had some pretty big games. And if you looked at just sort of how he operated as a playmaker, mostly for himself, but also, he can make some nice passes, even if he's not a pass first player. I think there was some growth there. I think this is kind of the year where you're hoping that you see it all come together, right? Like the talent has been quite obvious since before he was in the NBA. His athleticism is absolutely insane. He's a really smooth player. The shot looks pure, and like the spot up shooting numbers last year were really good. It's just sort of a matter of the efficiency coming together. So you can see him get those 25 to 30 point games, but he's not taking 25 to 30 shots to get there. That's sort of what we want to see. Obviously, you'd also want to see some growth on defense. He's been a pretty terrible defender throughout his NBA career so far, but he has all the tools, right? Like he's like one of the most athletic people in the NBA. So I think in theory he could be a fine defender. We just kind of have to see. And I want to see what happens with Portland's roster. Like in picking him here, there's sort of a tacit assumption that there will be space created for him at some point. I'm not sure Anthony Simons is necessarily going to finish the season in Portland. Like we'll just kind of have to see how things shake out there. But I do think like long term, they want Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe to be their backcourt.
Yeah, that name kind of threw me for a loop there. I didn't actually think about Shaedon Sharpe in this, but as you explain it, I can see why actually, because Shaedon Sharpe has been a mystery box, it's fair to say, for the most part throughout his NBA career. Actually, even before that, I mean, even in college, when I was trying to scout him and evaluate him for the draft, I was having to go back through like high school film and some of his AAU games and stuff because there's just nothing from college because he didn't really play. And then even within the NBA, his rookie year was. You had those memorable dunks and you had a couple moments, flashes here and there. Like you could tell he's a scorer and you could tell he's an NBA caliber athlete, but you weren't quite sure what the package was. Last year, up until December, I was still a little worried. Hey, maybe this just isn't going to work. Maybe it was all just high school highlights the way there was for like James Wiseman back in the day. Like maybe there's nothing here. But then I thought he had a really nice December. And as you're saying, some of those flashes of, hey, maybe there is some secondary playmaking here. Maybe he actually can be your second or third scorer on a pretty good team. There might be an element of that present in this player. So I think this year I could see him as a breakout, if only because I myself don't feel like I have a clear vision of what he's going to be on a consistent basis. And this is the first time he's really going to get to play 82 games as a developed NBA player who kind of knows what he's going through.